All right, buckle up, everyone, because today we're diving headfirst into the world of cybersecurity jobs.
Sounds exciting.
It is. And timely, too. Seems like everyone and their grandma wants a piece of this cybersecurity pie. Cybersecurity salary. It dropped just last week, September 11th, 2024, so it's fresh off the presses.
Excellent timing then.
Exactly. Think of this deep dive as your cheat sheet to landing a hopefully lucrative role in this, let's be honest, kind of wild world of cybersecurity.
It's definitely a rapidly growing field, that's for sure. And it's evolving so quickly.
Yeah.
What I find fascinating is how cybersecurity has gone from this niche thing tucked away in IT departments to like a major boardroom issue.
Right. It's not just about tech anymore.
Not at all. It's about brand trust, financial stability, the whole shebang.
And this Simple Learn report, it throws out this stat, and it stuck with me. A cyber attack every 39 seconds.
Every 39 seconds. It's mind-boggling.
I know. I mean, that's more often than I check my phone, probably. I'm not even going to admit to how often I check my phone.
Right. It's constant.
So it's no wonder that companies are scrambling, right, to build up their defenses.
Absolutely. And they need skilled professionals to do it. It's not just reacting to attacks anymore, but really thinking ahead, building those digital fortresses from the ground up.
Okay, speaking of digital fortresses, this report, it dives into some pretty cool-sounding roles, let me tell you.
Oh, I bet. Let's hear it.
First up, we've got the CISO, the Chief Information Security Officer. They're the ones calling the shots, right?
Absolutely. They're the generals of the cyber realm, if you will, responsible for the entire cybersecurity strategy of an organization, making sure all those digital walls are fortified, the defenses are strong.
So high pressure.
You could say that, yes.
High pressure, but also, I'm guessing, a pretty hefty paycheck.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You're talking typically six-figure salaries.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. But, okay, let's say you're maybe a little more hands-on, you know. You like to get your hands a little dirty. There's this other role, the security architect, that really piqued my interest.
Oh, interesting. Tell me more.
Well, it sounds like they're the ones actually designing these complex security systems that, you know, everyone's always talking about.
Exactly. They're the architects of those digital fortresses. They need a deep understanding of network architecture, cryptography, all the nuts and bolts of secure systems.
So it's not just about, like, being tech savvy.
No, you've got to be able to think like a hacker, anticipate their moves.
I like that. So you're saying it's as much about strategy as it is about, like, knowing your code.
Absolutely. And staying updated. The threat landscape is constantly evolving, so security architects need to be on top of the latest trends, the newest vulnerabilities. They need to be able to design countermeasures before those threats even become a problem.
So basically, they're like the chess masters of cybersecurity, always thinking a few steps ahead.
Exactly. They need that strategic mind, always thinking, okay, if I were a hacker, how would I try to break into this system? And then they design their defenses accordingly.
So you're talking, like, years of experience, probably. A laundry list of certifications.
Certifications are definitely valuable in this field, that's for sure. Especially one like the CISSP, Certified Information Systems Security Professional. That's like the gold standard.
It's like that stamp of approval that says, hey, I know my stuff.
Exactly. It shows employers you're serious about this field.
I see. Okay, but let's say you are ready to get your hands dirty, to really dive into the code. What about a cybersecurity engineer? What do they actually engineer?
Well, they're the ones building and maintaining the systems that keep data secure. And yes, coding is absolutely essential here. We're talking Python, C++, all those fun things.
All those fun things. So maybe those coding boot camps that everyone's talking about, maybe those aren't such a bad idea after all.
They could definitely give you a leg up, yes.
Right. Okay, I'm adding that to my to-do list. But let's talk about a role that sounds straight out of a spy thriller. Malware analyst.
Ooh, now those guys, they've got stories.
I bet they do. I mean, they're basically like digital detectives, right?
Precisely. They analyze malicious code viruses, worms, Trojans, you name it, they've seen it.
So they figure out how it works, how to detect it, how to stop it from, like, wreaking havoc?
Exactly. They dissect these malicious programs, figure out their weaknesses, and then develop ways to neutralize them.
So you need a strong stomach for that, for staring into the abyss of, like, digital evil.
You could say that,
Yeah.
but it's also incredibly rewarding knowing you're on the front lines of defending against these threats.
Okay, I see the appeal. And finally, we have to talk about the role that sounds, I don't know, the most fun, maybe.
Let's hear it.
The penetration tester. They're the ethical hackers, right? The ones who get paid to break into systems legally.
Exactly. Think of them as the friendly burglars who help you reinforce your home security before the real criminals show up. They use the same tools and techniques as malicious hackers, but with permission, of course.
So their job is to find the weak spots, the vulnerabilities, before someone with, less than noble intentions does.
Precisely. They find those vulnerabilities, report them, and then hopefully those vulnerabilities get patched up before any real damage is done.
Okay, so they get paid to hack ethically. That's pretty cool. But the Simply Learn report, it's focusing on India, right?
That's right. It's looking specifically at the cybersecurity job market in India.
So I'm curious, is it as hot there as it seems to be, globally?
That's a great question. And, the answer is a little nuanced. I mean, yeah, the roles and responsibilities, those are largely consistent globally. But the Indian cybersecurity landscape, it definitely has its own, I don't know, its own flavor, you could say.
Its own flavor. I like that. So what's different?
Well, for one thing, location plays a big role. Just like with any job market, really. You've got Bengaluru, kind of like India's Silicon Valley. Salaries there, especially for those senior roles, they can rival what you'd see here in the U.S. But in smaller cities, salary expectations and even just the demand for certain skills, those might be different.
Makes sense. So are there any niche skills within cybersecurity that are particularly hot in India right now?
One area that immediately comes to mind is mobile security.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, India has seen this massive surge in smartphone users, which, of course, more smartphones, more targets for cyber criminals. So companies are really on the lookout for professionals who can secure mobile applications, protect user data, prevent fraud on those platforms,
Why?
all of that.
Right, because you've got the whole world in your pocket these days. So it makes sense that cybersecurity would follow.
Exactly.
But it does make you wonder, with technology changing so fast, what will these cybersecurity jobs even look like in 5, 10 years? This Simple Learn report, it's just a snapshot, right?
Oh, absolutely. If there's one constant in cybersecurity, it's change. We're always playing catch up with the bad guys.
That's true.
And speaking of change, we've got to talk about AI.
Oh, here we go. The AI buzz. It really is everywhere you turn these days. So how is AI shaking up the cybersecurity landscape? Be specific.
Well, it's actually pretty fascinating. It's a double-edged sword, really.
How so?
On the one hand, you've got hackers, and they're using AI to create these super sophisticated attacks. I'm talking AI-powered phishing campaigns, malware that can learn and adapt, all sorts of nasty stuff that's getting harder and harder to detect.
Okay, so not great.
No, not great. But on the flip side, we security professionals, we're using AI to fight back.
Fighting fire with fire.
Exactly. We're using AI to analyze massive amounts of data, detect threats in real time, even automate some security tasks. It's like having an army of digital defenders working around the clock.
So it's like a digital arms race with AI as the weapon of choice.
In a way, yes.
Wow. So what does that even mean for the future of human cybersecurity professionals?
That's a question I get a lot. And honestly, I think it's a good thing. Look, machines, they're great at crunching numbers, analyzing huge data sets, things like that. But they can't replace human intuition. They can't replace our ability to think critically, to solve problems, to understand the psychology behind these attacks. At least not yet, anyway.
Well, that's reassuring, I guess.
But I do think the future of cybersecurity involves a lot more collaboration between humans and machines. We'll be working alongside AI, using it to enhance our skills and make us even more effective at our jobs.
So maybe instead of replacing jobs, AI is going to create new ones, new types of cybersecurity roles.
Exactly. We're already seeing that happen, and I think it's only going to accelerate in the coming years.
Like what? Give me some examples. What kind of cool new cybersecurity jobs might we see in the future?
Well, for one, I think we'll see roles like AI security architect, someone who specializes in designing and implementing security for AI systems themselves.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, even AI can be vulnerable to attacks. We need to make sure those systems are secure from the ground up.
Okay, that makes sense. What else?
Or how about machine learning threat analyst, someone who uses algorithms to predict and prevent attacks before they even happen. They'd be like the cybersecurity fortune tellers, using data to anticipate the next big threat.
Okay, those both sound like seriously cool jobs, jobs of the future. But let's bring it back down to earth for a moment for those listening who are maybe just starting out in their cybersecurity journey and maybe feeling a little, I don't know, overwhelmed by all of this.
I hear you. It can definitely feel like drinking from a fire hose at times, right?
Totally. So what advice would you give to someone who's fresh out of school, eager to break into this field, but maybe not sure where to even begin?
Honestly, my biggest piece of advice would be Don't try to boil the ocean.
Don't try to boil the ocean.
Meaning cybersecurity is vast,
Yeah.
it's complex, you don't need to know everything on day one. Focus on building a strong foundation. Start with the basics. Networking, operating systems, basic security principles.
So get comfortable with those building blocks and then go from there.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. Experiment, break things in a safe environment, of course.
Right. Don't go hacking into the Pentagon or anything.
No.
So,
But seriously, join some online communities, maybe participate in some capture the flag competitions.
oh yeah, those are fun.
They are. And they're a great way to learn and test your skills. The main thing is to stay curious. Never stop learning. Because this field is never going to stop evolving.
Curiosity is key. That's good advice for, like, life in general, honestly.
Isn't it? Speaking of curiosity, one thing that's always intrigued me about cybersecurity, aside from all the technical stuff, is the human element.
Yeah.
Because we can build the most sophisticated security systems in the world, but all it takes is one person clicking on a suspicious link or falling for a phishing scam, and the whole thing can come crashing down.
It's true. As much as technology shapes cybersecurity, it's often human error that creates the biggest vulnerabilities.
It's like they always say, it's all fun and games until someone clicks the wrong link. You got it. And that's why, social engineering is such a powerful tool for hackers. They exploit human psychology, our trust, our desire for easy rewards to trick us into compromising our own security.
Like those phishing emails we all get. Congratulations, you've won a free cruise. Yeah, right? Like that's ever going to happen.
Exactly. But people still fall for it because
Yeah.
they let their guard down, they get excited, they don't stop to think, and that's all it takes.
So how do we combat that? We can't exactly reprogram human nature, can we?
True, but we can raise awareness, educate ourselves and others about the tactics hackers use.
So like knowing your enemy.
Exactly. Teach people how to spot a phishing email, how to create strong passwords, how to be more discerning about the information they share online. Because knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. Love it.
The more we understand about the threats, the better equipped we are to protect ourselves. And that applies to individuals as much as it does to organizations. It's a shared responsibility, really.
It's not just about the tech, it's about the people behind the tech.
Exactly. It's about understanding that the human element is both a vulnerability and a crucial line of defense. We need to be mindful of both sides of that coin.
It really is. It's fascinating stuff. But thinking about the future of cybersecurity, all these roles we've been talking about, it makes you wonder which ones are going to be like absolutely crucial going forward.
Oh, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Have to pick just one. Like choosing a favorite, I don't know,
Yeah.
a favorite ice cream flavor or something.
Yeah. Right. But if you had to put your money on one area of cybersecurity that you think is going to be like the most critical in the years to come, what would it be?
If I had to choose, I'd say keep your eye on the folks who specialize in securing critical infrastructure.
Okay, let's break that down a bit. When we say critical infrastructure, we're talking about like the essential systems that, keep our society running.
Exactly.
Power grids, water treatment plants, hospitals, transportation systems, all of that.
All of that. Things we rely on every single day, often without even realizing it. But if those systems were to be compromised, look out. The consequences could be absolutely devastating.
Yeah, it's kind of scary to even think about, like a cyber attack that cripples the power grid or shuts down traffic lights or something.
Right. Or disrupts communication networks, takes hospitals offline. Those are the stakes we're talking about.
And those kinds of attacks, I mean, they're not just the stuff of like sci-fi movies anymore, right? I feel like I've been reading more and more reports about these kinds of attacks actually happening.
Oh, absolutely, they're happening. And they're becoming more frequent, more sophisticated, which is why the role of those cybersecurity professionals who are out there defending those systems, it's more crucial now than ever. It's not just about protecting against outside threats either.
Oh, right, because a system could be crippled by like a natural disaster or just plain old human error, too.
Exactly. So you've got to build in resilience from within. Make sure those systems can withstand and recover from attacks no matter what the cause.
So you need to be thinking about like every possible scenario, having a plan in place for anything. That's got to take a very specific skill set, right?
Absolutely. You need the technical chops, for sure. But you also need a deep, deep understanding of the specific infrastructure you're protecting.
So it's not just about being a cybersecurity expert. You've got to be an expert in power grids or water treatment or whatever it is you're protecting.
You got it. It's a specialized field, even within the already specialized field of cybersecurity.
Right. Wow. But hey, for those who are up for the challenge, it sounds like an incredibly rewarding career path. I mean, knowing that your work is directly impacting like the safety and well-being of, society as a whole, that's got
Yeah.
to feel good.
It absolutely does. There's a real sense of purpose in knowing that you're on the front lines of defending our digital world, making sure that those critical systems that we all rely on, that they stay up and running no matter what.
Well said. Well, I think that about wraps up our deep dive into the world of cybersecurity jobs.
It's been a pleasure chatting with you about it.
Likewise, and to everyone listening, whether you're a tech whiz eager to, dive into the nitty-gritty or someone who's just got that knack for understanding like human behavior and how it all ties into cybersecurity, remember, there's a place for you in this field, and it's only getting bigger.
Absolutely. So stay curious, never stop learning, and who knows, maybe one day you'll be the expert sharing your insights with the world.
Love it. And on that note, it's time for us to sign off. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the exciting world of cybersecurity jobs. Until next time, stay safe, stay secure, and as always, stay curious.